what, if any, would you say is the biggest lie out there that the average man is still believing about his health?
Oh man, that the fix is in the pills, potions, and powders, the gadgets, the gizmos, the biohacks, and all that stuff that has absolutely zero context of the biochemical individuality of you. That's the biggest myth.
So looking for a fix all solution to a specific N of one problem.
Absolutely. I think the big thing is everybody will suffer from various complaints and symptoms and things that have been bugging them for a while, or they want to increase performance and become superhuman or the ultimate, human being and have all that great biology. And unfortunately, we live in a marketing based, I'm an unapologetic Christian, constitutionalist, contrarian, and capitalist. So at the end of the day, I believe in business and things of that nature, but integrity is really important. But what happens is in the market, everybody is selling a product, a solution, a pill for every ill, if you will, which is kind of, what conventional allopathic medicine is these days, right? You go in, you have a complaint. Hey, doc, what can you give me for this? And they go, okay, well, in 7.6 minutes, here's what your things are. Here's a little slip of paper. Go trade that in for a little orange bottle with a white cap at the pharmacy. And then I'll see you back in 6 months. Well, out there in the performance in the biohacking world and longevity space and health and wellness and stuff, you have plenty of people which will actually provide you that exact same engagement. Watch a piece of content. Hey, if you want this, well, I've got this solution in this bottle for you. And that's where people start spinning their wheels. They're not doing anything with their own personal data. They don't have any way to really know if this works for them or not. And if it does, to quantify it, right? So knowing where you're at before you begin and you start applying these strategies, right? And we apply that in business. We take a look at, balance sheets and EBITDA and all kinds of things that in that nature. And so it's in business. We do it in law when you're taking a look at your pleadings and stuff. And then you take a look at it in performance stuff. You're taking a look at what your PRs are and you're measuring stuff and you're tracking, your dietary stuff and intake. But people don't do that for their physiology. They're just adding pills and they don't know what systems that they're moving. That's my passion lies, is helping people learn how they can actually implement that.
Yeah. And then they're adding one Band-Aid solution on top of another Band-Aid solution on top of another one. And then before you know it, they're on a, cycle of 13, 14 different medicines because this one produced this one and it produced this one. It's interesting, you talked about business and kind of some of the variables. It's like, yeah, you need to drive marketing, sales, revenue, which also need balance sheets and EBITDA, tax optimization, customer service, delivery, all of these things. I competed for about a decade in bodybuilding, and like a lot of people think bodybuilding is just about the lifting of the weights. It's like, no, that's actually like 20% of it. It's like your sleep, your recovery, your stress management plays a huge factor in dialing in an optimal physique. So everybody's looking for that.
Absolutely fundamental things we build from. You're not going to get performance in a pill, but it is definitely, there's a lot of different therapeutic molecules that we use to do that.
Yeah. And I think for me, this is obviously not my professional career field, but I think sometimes when you go to see a physician, a doctor that is trained in a specific area, they're looking through your diagnosis through a single lens, like the books they read, the things that they trained on, and the solution that they understand. And maybe what you're struggling with is sitting outside of that specific lens. So can you talk about maybe why a more functional, holistic approach to discovering the root cause? Because I think that's essentially what you're speaking to, is like, we got to get to the root, but why do we need to look at it outside of kind of this traditional one isolated lens, one box? Like, why do we need more of this holistic look at things?
Well, I actually pick on that word holistic. So you have a whole list of supplements, and that's kind of my ick, right? So I don't do holistic. So I'm a 30-year integrative and functional medicine physician, right? So I've worked in over 100,000 cases from all demographics all around the world. I principally train other clinicians and in this field now to kind of step out of that medical model. So I don't deal in diagnosis, right? I don't treat symptoms. We support systems. And so what exists out there is this mentality. I've even given a name. I call it the name it, blame it, claim it, tame it games, right? So you want to give it a name. It's my Hashimoto's or my ED or whatever, right? So you name it. Then they have to get you to claim it. They have to say, hey, listen, and you're going to start calling it yours. Oh, and it's because of your genetics, or it runs in the family, because that starts to set you up that it's beyond your control. And we're just going to be the person that helps you manage it. So you name it, blame it, claim it. Well, you got to blame it on something. So what happens is people say, oh, well, it's in different realms. They'll say, well, it's genetics. And that's the reason why your cholesterol is elevated or whatever. In the holistic space or alternative or wellness kind of stuff, root cause people, I don't even like to use that term, quite honestly. They're going to say, well, it's because of leaky gut or adrenal fatigue. And they have all these monikers too, these stamps. And then they want to tame it. And they just so happen to have either pharmaceuticals and surgeries, two trick pony, or over here, you have all the pills, potions, and powders, the gadgets, the gizmos. Well, the thing about that is people go, well, I hate big pharma. You know, well, one of the funny things that's totally fact checkable. I always tell people, don't believe me just because I'm enthusiastic and passionate about it. The vast majority of all the nutraceuticals, all the supplement companies are owned by the exact same pharma companies. Okay. Garden of Life is owned by Nestle. You know, just you could get all into it. So, and Pfizer owns a lot of them, like Emergency and things. So, and they're 10 to 20 times more annual revenue from the supplement industry than it is from pharmaceuticals. So they far surpass them by billions of dollars a year. So I find that kind of ironic that you got same kind of a model on either side, in that they like to call it something, blame it on something, and then sell you taming it in bottles. And here's where they're both falling short. They're not getting into the unique story of the individual, setting the person aside as a category of one, what makes them uniquely them, their environment, their mindset, their lifestyle, and their nutrition, all that data. In the medical traditional model, my colleagues, there's no time for that because a third party is paying for it. We call it in cases insurance, right? So your insurance pays for it. And so they only have limited time. So then they might suggest, oh, go see a dietitian or something like that. So that leaves your audience to the lone and dreary world of the noise and confusion of the info space. And so they go and they Google stuff, or they get something on flipping through TikTok, and oh, that sounds like me. I'll do that. And I go, that's kind of what the drug commercials say, like, ask your doctor if this is right for you. So it's all the same thing. It's very crossover. The models are the same. And so what I really want to encourage people to do, and the reason why I'm so grateful to come on the show and share with the audience is that I want to show you a standard. There is a gospel or good news, if you will, to where you can find out data about yourself that is scientifically based, evidence-based. These are accepted biomarkers and values and some genetics, and then get that data, apply these things that you're wanting to explore, and then follow up and test and repeat and see how it's moving the markers, right? We just don't do everything all willy-nilly and stuff. And I know it's very easy to use certain terms out there, like we're going to get to the root cause, but what does that actually mean? They'll say, well, it's leaky gut. And I'm, well, there's no such thing as leaky gut. There's intestinal increased permeability, but there's no this, if you eat Doritos, the piece of the Dorito goes through the wall, goes into circulation, and causes all these problems. That doesn't happen in physics. It's just not there. But it markets really good, right? Because then they're like, oh, well, then now you need these soil-based probiotics, or you need my nitric oxide supplement, or you need my, whatever it is, or my special remineralized coffee. That's really what you need, So there's a lot of that kind of stuff, going on out there. And I try to help show people that that's why they're not getting the results that they want to do.